Alright, alright. What's really going on? Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Today, going to be taking a look at Litecoin, LTC against USDT. Going to be assessing some of these key technical aspects of price action moving forward. Going to be looking at some of the pivotal areas of support and resistance I believe we're going to be interacting with in the very near future here. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Do you trade? Do you hold? Or do you let the price action unfold? What are you doing with your bag? If you have one, are you bullish on price action? You're accumulating at these levels. Do you believe we found support and we're likely to rally upward, get to that $300, $400 plus level that we came from in the not so distant past? Or are you bearish on price action? Have you sold your whole bag during these crazy times? Do you think support has yet to be found? Is there more downside ahead of us? Are we plummeting all the way down to $100, past $50 into $25, zero? Where do you think price action is likely to go in the near future here? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Now, jumping right into it to kind of recap price action that has been very bullish since the end of October of 2020. We have price action rallying upward along this ascending trend line, in addition to interaction with these very critical horizontal levels of support and resistance. A more relevant range of what appears to be sideways that we have rallied from is this ever so crucial and critical $116 per Litecoin level here that we have experienced a rejection off of as resistance, in addition to interaction with this level as support. We have price action getting rejected off of $116 on the kind of 18th and 19th of December there. We have price action rallying upward from a very bullish support level, experiencing some resistance, sending price action bouncing back toward $100, like sub $100, to get some more kind of buy-ins there. We were quickly bought up and found our way above $116 to kind of skyrocket into this next aggressive point of resistance, what appears to be on the kind of 10th of January there. We had a very aggressive rejection off of $177, sending us back down to $116 as support. Price action was bought up kind of very quickly. We ended up consolidating for kind of a couple weeks here above $116 toward that ascending trend line, to find our way still in the kind of bullish uptrend, and with the enough momentum to plow through $177. That was the previous resistance that sent us kind of plummeting back down toward 116. And then kind of shortly after breaking $177, we interact with a new resistance that sent us plummeting back to it as kind of support. And so as we see, price action does tend to want to break resistance and then come back down to it as support for kind of whatever reason. And so for the past kind of few months here, we have price action interacting with these kind of support and resistance levels in kind of very key ways. We have higher highs, higher lows being printed. We were back above the ascending trend line. We were looking very bullish. All these higher highs, euphoric levels of like $400 plus until an abrupt change in momentum was present in the crypto sphere here. We sent everything plummeting down through all this potential support. We have price action for a good kind of period of weeks here along the kind of after the old dreaded 19th of May crash there, if you call it a crash. We have price action from the 19th of May all the way to the 14th of June, trying to find support along $177. We have price action getting slapped above and below this level, but ultimately confirming it as resistance, I do believe, on the kind of 14th of June there. And so as we kind of pointed out earlier, we do have experience of resistance at $177 kind of back on the 10th of January, which did send price action all the way to $116, which is currently kind of what occurred on the kind of 14th of June of this year. It sent price action plummeting all the way to $116. We even have a wick on the 22nd of June, reaching down to $105, kind of $106 there. You're looking at tad bearish, perhaps in the short term, which did suggest perhaps further interaction with this kind of critical level. So while it's going on at the moment, I do believe $116 is going to be very crucial, very critical moving forward. That is going to be a very significant level we will have to hold, I do believe, if we're likely to determine the direction of the trend, perhaps in the kind of midterm. Failure to hold that range could send us into some more kind of some lows here, sub $100, a prolonged perhaps phase of reaccumulation before we can find our way back to the euphoric multi-$100 highs. Although support found at $116 level there would be quite bullish, perhaps in the kind of short term, and could suspect perhaps some upside sooner than kind of later. Now, a new perspective comes into play when we consider EngineeringRobo, along with the Fibba, Zucchini, Lamborghini levels of Illuminati, Bugattis, and Lamborghinis. Again, we can see the 0.236 Fibonacci line at $115.92, correlating with my $116 level, suggesting even further significance at this level there. That could be very, very potent support or resistance kind of moving forward. So we will see if this is further, if we are able to bounce here, or are we bearish enough to kind of plow through $116 and start confirming that as resistance, and that would be a tad more kind of like bearish in the kind of midterm. We have the 0.382 Fibonacci level, giving significance to my $177 resistance there. $172 is going to be significant resistance as well. Very high sell pressure present up at that range. So I do believe once we do find support, $172 is going to be waiting to slap us back down to kind of wherever we come from. In addition to the underside of this 200 daily moving average, or wherever it might be at the time, I do think there's going to be very high sell pressure along the underside of that MA there. We have EngineeringRobo still bearish on price action, suggesting some very high technical sell pressure present, although the fundamental demand for Litecoin is ever so present as well. And I do believe we are bullish enough to kind of bottom out here against all this very high technical sell pressure. Now, like I said, $116 is going to be very critical moving forward. You know, will we hold that? Will we find support? Will we have some short-term upside? Is there a relief rally ahead, or is there still more downside? And are we going to plummet through this critical level here and interact with, like, you know, sub $100 type ranges? So lots going on with Litecoin against USDT at the moment. When we consider Litecoin against Bitcoin, we can see this new perspective come into play. We have price action in what appears to be a very similar phase of sideways, coming back down to interact with this kind of critical 37.32 level as support. We have price action interacting with this 32.72 level as support, in addition to resistance found, I believe, at the 45.06 level for a sort of period of like months from kind of last year, when we had price action kind of bouncing between this these crazy ranges that have like highs near the 45.06 and lows near 37.32 Satoshi, where we are currently. We have this very significant 41.26 Satoshi level as kind of the like sort of middle point that we've had. We've experienced price action since the what appears to be the end of October of 2020 all the way to the kind of like 23rd of February of 2021. We have price action interacting with 41.30 as both support and resistance. So this level I do believe is going to be very critical moving forward, and this is going to cause some very aggressive volatile price action. I do believe once we get kind of near this level. We currently are experiencing resistance. We're coming out of what appears to be very high sell pressure and a rejection off of this range after bouncing off of the lows near 37.28 Satoshi. We got slapped off of 41.30, looking to re-interact with 37.32. So we're in another kind of potential point we could bounce. Support found at this level is going to be more bullish in the kind of like short term. I could perhaps expect some bullish price action against the price of Bitcoin. Although we could very well fail to hold this level, as we do experience. We have an experience of price action. We have an example of price action experiencing sort of like resistance at the 37.27 range there, sending it plummeting into lows near sort of like 3,300 Satoshi. And so that's where we kind of came from on the sort of end of March of 2020. That sent us all the way to the euphoric highs near resistance found at 67.07 Satoshi, but the abrupt change in momentum when we were near that level sent us plummeting down to kind of where we are currently. So there's lots going on for Litecoin against the price of Bitcoin here. Now, new perspective comes into play when we consider EngineeringRobo along with the Fibba, Zucchini, Lamborghini levels of bikinis. We can see we have EngineeringRobo still bearish against price action, suggesting some very high sell pressure against the price of Bitcoin, in addition to price action being below the 200 daily moving average. Is going to suggest some very high technical sell pressure, suggesting some breaks downwards from these phases of consolidation, suggesting some further attempts at support. Although these key levels are going to come into play, and we're going to have to see just how significant kind of they are. We have the 0.786 Fibonacci level correlating with the 200 daily moving average at the moment, suggesting some very high sell pressure near that range. Wherever the underside of the 200 daily moving average is going to be a very high kind of like sell pressure point. A lot of bearish suggestions near this for this indicator here. We have so a lot of overhead resistance ahead of us. We have a range between the 0.618 Fibonacci level at 5097 Satoshi all the way to the 0.5 Fibonacci level at 5672 Satoshi, giving us a hard time as potential resistance once we kind of get back up there. Price action above the 200 daily moving average is going to be more bullish long term and suggest more buy pressure is present, although we are currently experiencing some very high technical sell pressure, suggesting some more bearish price action against the price of Bitcoin. But lots going on with Litecoin against Bitcoin. But if we consider Bitcoin against USDT, we can see this new perspective come into play here. We have price action interacting with the ever so critical, crucial, and pivotal $32,000 level. This is going to be very, very crucial moving forward. If this is confirmed as resistance, then we are going to experience perhaps a very jarring and aggressive, perhaps flash crash, if you will. Quick interaction with the high 20Ks there. The 0.382 Fibonacci level is going to be my target if resistance is confirmed at 32K. Fundamentally, we are quite bullish, and all these dips are being bought up very aggressively, and there's very high demand for Bitcoin at these levels. And so we are trying to find a bottom. We are trying to find support every chance we get. Price action finding its way above 32K would be more bullish in the short term. It could perhaps suggest some more short-term upside, although waiting for us overhead is going to be the 0.5 fettuccine level at $34,300 per Bitcoin, which gave us a very, very hard time in the last kind of couple weeks here, and which is what's currently slapping us back into 32K here. Say we plow through 32K, plow through the 0.5 Fibonacci level. We have the 0.618 fettuccine line at 41,000 waiting to slap us all the way back to wherever we kind of come from. So there's very high some resistance overhead waiting for us once we start to bottom out and have experience some upside. We have price action below that dreaded 200 daily moving average is going to be a very high bearish technical indicator. We have EngineeringRobo bearish on price action still, so you have lots of reasons to be a tad short-term bearish. Although fundamentally, I do believe we are still quite long-term bullish. I do believe all this accumulation and all this downside is very bullish for the trend in the long term. There's never a bad time to buy Bitcoin, only better times. So at the moment, we are looking a tad bearish in the short term. Like I said, this resistance at 32K could send price action plummeting into the high 20s, low 30s there, like we currently are. Failure to hold the 27K level could send us into the high teens at another kind of key Fibonacci line that we'll have to see if that becomes more likely or not. I'm always bullish on Bitcoin. Like I said, never a bad time to buy Bitcoin, only better times. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you bullish? Are you bearish on price action? Are you accumulating at these levels? Do you think this is support? Do you think all-time highs are around the corner, 6 figures plus, or have you yet to find support? Is Bitcoin heading, back down to the teens, back down to 10K where it came from kind of not too long ago? We are still very overbought from this time last year and just before. So I do believe, some downsides, some sideways might be necessary for the trend to continue in the long term. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hearing my analysis. Try EngineeringRobo free with the link in the description. Subscribe here on YouTube. Check out all the other social media down below. Let me know your thoughts on the direction of price action down in the comment section down below. Thank you for tuning in, and tune in for the next one.